Crochet Collections channel. Today we are going to learn how to do these mini flower grading squares. What you will need is a 5mm size hook. You will need 3 different colors of yarn, a pair of scissors, and a yarn needle for weaving in all your ends. Once you have all of those materials, let's head over to the table and get started. See you soon! So just like we did with all of our flower projects before this, we are going to start off with a magic ring. And just take your wooden tail, wrap it around your non-dominant hand twice, grab your hook, pull up the loop, yarn over, and chain 1 to secure it. And it might be a little fiddly because you're just working with your yarn. And that chain 1 just secures your loop. And because we are left-handed, we will just want to flip our magic ring around, and we are just going to start single crocheting right into that ring and that tail. We're just going over, pull up a loop, and we are just going to single crochet 8 times into this magic ring. And once you have 8 single crochets, I'll meet you back and show you how to join it. To close our ring, we are just going to grab our tail and gently pull it until it's shut, just like that. And to close it completely, we are going to do a slip stitch right into the very first single crochet that we made. And you want to go through both loops. Make sure you are not working over the working tail. And pull through. Go ahead and grab your scissors. Snip off that yellow yarn. Yarn over. Pull through. And you are done with the yellow color. Before we start working on our petals, I would highly suggest that you take your yarn needle and weave in your tails, just so that they're not in the way when we're working with our white yarn. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back and start the petals. Now, in order to join my yarn to my yellow cord, I went ahead and did a slip knot, and I'm just going to take my hook and insert it right into that very stitch where we tied off our circle. Insert that slip knot onto our hook and attach it with the slip stitch. And then we are just going to chain 3 and start working on our clusters. So there's that slip stitch, 2, and 3. And that would count as our first double crochet. So we are now going to continue on and make our first little cluster with this chain 3. So just go ahead and yarn over just as if you would do a double crochet and go into that same stitch where you joined your yarn. Pick up a loop, yarn over, and go through those first couple of loops. And we are going to finish that half of a half double crochet. We're just going to yarn over and repeat that process one more time. So go ahead and insert your hook right through that same stitch. Grab your yarn and pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through those first couple of loops. Now, because we chained 3 in the beginning, that counts as our first half of a half double crochet, and we're going to finish that by yarning over and going through all 3 loops. We want to chain 2, and that completes our very first cluster. To start our second cluster, you just want to yarn over just as if you were making a real double crochet and go into that very next stitch. And you might want to make sure that you are going through both of those loops. Pull up a loop, and then go through 2 loops. And we are not going to complete that double crochet because we are just going to yarn over and do the same process 2 more times. Go back into that same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through those 2 loops, and do it 1 more time. So just yarn over, go into that same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops. You should now have 4 loops on your hook. To finish this off, we are going to yarn over, go through all 4 of those loops, and chain 2. And that is how we are going to do our clusters from here on out. So because you single crocheted 8 in your circle, we are going to end up having 8 little clusters. And every single one, except for that very first one, will start off the same way that we did our first real one. That is yarning over, doing a half of a half 3 times, and then yarning over and going through all 4 of those loops on our hook. And after that, we are just going to yarn over and chain 2 to finish our little cluster off. So just continue on, and I will meet you back when you have 8 little clusters. By this time you should have a total of 8 little clusters. And this little stitch right here that's joined to the chain 3, that is known as our false stitch. And to close off our little flower, we are just going to skip the chain 3, the top of the chain 3, and insert our hook right into the top of where we closed off our cluster. We are just going to finish it off by a slip stitch. And you are done with the white. And if you want, do a little knot like that, grab your scissors, and snip off your yarn. And if you want to weave in that white little end, that's completely fine, but I am just gonna work over it while I'm doing the granny square part. We are just going to add 1 more row, and that will be our granny square border. So to start, just grab your hook, look for that first space between 2 clusters, insert your hook, and attach your background color. And for me, I am doing a light blue. Once you attach your color, go ahead and chain 5. And your chain 5 will count as your first double crochet and the chain 2 space between your corner. So there's 3 and chain 2 more, and that makes 5. And that just counts as the start of your corner. We now want to yarn over and double crochet 3 more right into that space, and that will count as the corner, or the very first corner, of our granny square border. And if you have trouble with the double crochet, I will go ahead and place the link for the video down below. So there's 1, 2, and 3. To finish this corner, we are just going to chain 1 and then do another 3 double crochets right into that same space. And that is just to be consistent with the granny square border. And if you want, you can just continue working over your tails, or you can just leave them all out and weave them at the end. So there's 2, and 3. And at the end of this double crochet, we are just going to chain 1 and then do another corner. The second corner of the square is going to have 3 double crochets right into the space that you see right here. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Next, we want to chain 2. And that just provides a little space between each corner. And then we want to do another 3 right into that very same space. And that just squares out the little flower. There's 1, 2, and 3. Just remember, between each corner is a group of 3 double crochets right into that next space. So between these 2, we are just going to do another group of 3. And then in the corner, we would do 2 groups of 3 double crochets with a chain 2 in between. And I will meet you back when you have all 4 corners. Now remember, at the very beginning we did a chain 5. Because we did a chain 5, this chain 3 counts as the first double crochet of that corner. So in order to finish this half of the corner, we need to yarn over and do 2 more double crochets right into that same space. And just remember, you need to do it right into the same space where that chain 5 is. So there's 1, and 2. Alright. To finish off our little flower granny square, we just want to go to the top of that chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Poke our hook through and finish it off with the slip stitch. And if you want to make it look a little neater, just slip stitch again right into that little space. Pull up enough yarn so that you are able to weave in your end. Take your scissors and snip off your tail. And if you want, you can go ahead, grab your yarn needle, and weave in your end. And there we go. There is a little flower granny square. And it might look a little different because I use different kind of acrylic yarn. But if you use the same yarn, it should look something like that. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I'll see you all next week. See you soon!